Here we go on week 5. Thank you for all the work. The first thing to do is to take a look at exams. Grades are finalized. You can tell by, if you take a look on your grades, you'll see at any assessment, you'll see a little tag called graded, and that's just what I'll write at the end. So what I do is I go through every question on everyone's exam, and it's a lot of questions. There are 29 of you times all those exam questions. It really is my goal to have them done as soon as possible. It's one of the things that always bothered me about my professors, well, at least some of them, if they wouldn't give me feedback right away, then I couldn't adjust and change anything that needed to be changed for the future. So as soon as possible, go through your exams. And then if you would please, in week 5, there's a sheet, a test analysis, and it's for you. It's not to be turned in. I don't need to see it. But fill that out. We have lots of exams. So you've had a number of quizzes over the last couple of weeks, and we'll have 4 major exam sort of rounds this semester. This is the first one, and exams are definitely different than quizzes. You had a week to prepare. So in addition to the previous weeks with quizzes, so as you take a look at that exam analysis after you've gone over your exams, ask yourself some hard questions. So here's the deal. Everyone is still in this. So you got points. There's no one who took zeros. We've got a massively long semester ahead of us, and more points to go. And the exams do increase in point value as we go along here. But what will be important is to learn from any mistakes, not just in the content, but in how you prepared. So if there are things you can be doing differently, then you have to start doing things differently this week in order to make sure that those things that they get changed. You can all do this. Really, you're in here, you're working. I know you're all working hard. You're getting some points rolling. But please do the exam analysis and ask yourself those questions. This week coming up, it's a busy one. We've got a couple presentations to watch for lecture. There's a joints presentation and a bone presentation for lecture. And if you would please, there is a critical skills assignment to take a look at for Friday night. You've got a couple options. Because this material, especially in joints, is a little bit compartmentalized and detailed. None of it's impossible. There's just a lot of categories. I'm going to ask you to think about doing one of 2 different types of critical skills video. So it's going to be a video discussion that you post. Then you're essentially going to be teaching some content to your classmates. And a number of you have reported that those kind of things, especially the submissions from classmates, have helped in preparation. Okay, so that's lecture. We've got joints presentation, bone presentation, and a critical skills video due on Friday night. And for lab, this is a big week, so please jump in as soon as possible. We're going to learn all the bones in the body, and there are over 200 of them. It gets a little bit daunting when you hear those numbers, but then you realize, well, a lot of those bones have counterparts on the right side and the left side. So if we take those bones, if we take the 200 and some bones, we can almost divide that in half, which is still a lot. Hand bones and foot bones are the ones that end up being a little bit detailed. Some of them are kind of familiar to you, maybe. Hand bones and foot bones end up being the ones that are a little bit tricky. And if you take a look at the lab part for this week, you'll see the PDF with the bone names, and you'll see the video that walks you through that. But I've also included a little hand bone and foot bone helper. Please get started on this stuff as soon as possible. Next week we'll do muscles, and muscles will be quite a bit as well, but it's really this bone chapter that will force you to sit down and really start cranking on lab stuff. It will require some memorization. If spelling has been tripping you up, and that's common, this is all kind of goofy stuff, it's a good idea to practice and have a plan for that. And one of the best things to do if you're learning how to spell things for the first time is just simply keep a piece of paper next to you as you're studying, and when you come across a word like femur or triquetrium, just write that word 10 or 15 or 20 times. It will help you learn the word, and it will also help you identify what it looks like when it's correct. You know, we do this, and I still do this. Sometimes when I'm spelling a word, I take a look at it, and it's just like, that just doesn't look quite correct. So we've got a big, heavy week coming up. Please get started as soon as possible. Do the exam reviews. Do the test analysis. That's for yourself. Start thinking about the critical skills assignment that's due on Friday night as you're working through the joint material and the bone material, and as you start to wade into the content for lab. I'll be reaching out to each of you individually. It's a good idea to take a look at your scores for these past exams, but also take a look at your overall score. We do have a long semester. If there are things that need to be changed, we have some time, but it's really important that you make changes right now. It's one thing to be not happy with your grade, because we all tend to strive for better, and so there are ways to improve grades. But what I'm really concerned about is if your grade is if you're on the borderline for any of this stuff, then it's going to be important to make changes so you can be successful in this class. And the last thing I'll say, and I don't like talking about this, but I was a little bit shocked at the amount of academic dishonesty on this round. And it kind of drives me crazy. And it makes me ashamed for those of you who actually cheated on this. And you've chosen this pathway to become healthcare professionals. People's health, people's futures will be in your hands. You're in this class, even though it's not a program class. You're in this class because you need it. This is the foundation for everything. And if you're cheating your way through this, it's just a shame. You're wasting your money because it will catch up to you sooner or later. And I would hate to think of dropping my mom off or dropping myself off to have them being taken care of, to have them be cared for by someone who cheated their way into the position. So I've got no tolerance for cheating. So if there was academic dishonesty on your exams, I've made a list, and I will pass that list along to the folks above me who keep track of that kind of thing. And I would just say it's not worth it. Please do your own work. You're in this class because you need this content. I'll be reaching out to each of you individually by email, so please get used to checking your emails. Get started on week 5. It's big. Joints and bones, and especially the lab stuff, will require a little bit of time. So we're moving on now. The first exam content is kind of behind us. Now we're moving on. We'll have another exam in about 4 weeks. This is the first new content for that next round of exams. So there's a fresh start here, if you want to kind of think about it that way. Take what you learned from how you prepared over the past 4 weeks and use that to your advantage if you need to change some things. And have a safe day, kid. It's Monday. It's beautiful here in Minneapolis. I'll be reaching out to you. I appreciate the work, folks.